Welcome to Hoardganize with professional organizer Rachel Seavey. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., Rachel shares her expertise and compassionate approach to help you deal with overwhelming clutter. Rachel?
Hey, collectors. Welcome to the Hoardganize podcast, 100th episode. If you've been following me on social media, then you know that this episode is all about creating a curated closet with expert organizer, celebrity organizer, Geralin Thomas. Since 2003, Geralin Thomas has been crafting a hybrid company, Metropolitan Organizing, in Cary, North Carolina. She offers both career coaching for professional organizers and home organizing services with an emphasis on closet cleanouts. Geralin has appeared in dozens of episodes of the Emmy-nominated TV show Hoarders. Before that, she was on a TV show called Time Makeover as a time management and productivity subject matter expert. She's been quoted in plenty of publications and has done paid commercial work with national brands like Glade, Lysol, and Office Depot. Geralin's the author of 2 books, which you can find on Amazon, From Hoarding to Hope, Understanding People Who Hoard and How to Help Them. And she's also written Decluttering Your Home, Tips, Techniques, and Trade Secrets. She's been named by organizing colleagues as the best chronic disorganization expert, and in 2018, she received NAPO's President Award. Geralin's website, Metropolitan Organizing, contains a treasure trove of blog posts and topics related to organizing and decluttering. So what are you going to learn? Episode 100. This is what you're going to discover. Geralin's passion for helping people build better wardrobes. Geralin's tips for mindful shopping. How to start the decluttering process. Hilarious strategies for figuring out which garments aren't needed, loved, wanted, or worn. And why numbers matter. Without further ado, I'll introduce you to Geralin. You'll see why everybody loves her. And hopefully you're going to learn a lot of tips on our show. Well, Geralin, thank you so much for being on the 100th episode. I'm so excited to have you on. And I don't even know, where do you begin the conversation when clients want to declutter their wardrobe? It's kind of an awkward conversation. How does that go?
A lot of times when people call, they sort of give me some hints, right? Like I'm not wearing what's in my closet, or I feel like I don't have anything to wear, but I have a zillion garments, or I've got a special occasion. So those are kind of some of the things that people normally reach out for help and say. And then other times, I have to dig a little deeper with people. So the 3 big questions that I usually come up with are something like, I try to explain, do you want fashion or do you want style? Because I am not a fashionista. I'm, let's be sustainable and smart and not go crazy. And most of the women I work with are, 45 to maybe 85. And most of them want style. So that's something sustainable. Fashion, I think of as kind of being in the moment. Style is more forever and it defines you. So if I'm walking through the mall or a boutique and I would say, that looks just like Rachel. Another thing I like to share with people is, your clothing is your branding, right? It's brand you. Whatever you're wearing, whatever you're projecting, it comes through in your clothing. So it could be your silhouette. You could look more outdoorsy. You could look like a lumberjack. You could look like today to celebrate your 100th anniversary. I wore my Liza Minnelli sparkles, so I'm in celebration mode. But I think with some women especially, and gentlemen that I work with, that resonates with them and they want to project a certain thing. They used to be somebody, maybe they were married and a mom or whatever, and now they want to be, maybe they're single, or maybe they've gone through a mastectomy, or maybe they're no longer career corporate, they're more, doing something softer skills. And then the third thing is the unpleasant thing. And I always try to persuade people to either take their own measurements or let me help you take your measurements. I know it's little yucky feeling, but it is necessary for several reasons. And I guess I can go into those. You know, it gives you um, a- an objective starting point, should we say? You might think you have a really large waist, and when I measure it, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're perfectly proportioned. Isn't that nice? Um, it helps avoid mistake purchases. People love to shop online. And I also think it gives you a formula. So some people are wide shoulder, wide hip, but small waist. That's that's considered, you know, kind of desirable. And other people might have broader shoulders and narrower hips. We might try to balance that by bringing more volume to the hips, stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, I think I fall into that second category. And as I was saying before the show, you having me measure myself even years ago was just like such an eye opener, because you know you like to think you're smaller than you are, or um, it's kind of painful, but it was really an eye opener for me and helpful, you know, for getting clothing. Um, what reasons do clients typically have or need? Why do people need to shop for clothing?
Well, they shop for all kinds of reasons. We'll avoid what you and I have dealt with for years and years, right? Which is people who are in hoarding or over acquiring situations. We're just not even going to go there. We're just going to assume the average person shops because some people shop for function, and that means they need better shapewear. So maybe it's a more supportive bra, or maybe they have veins in their legs and they want support hose. Um, Maybe they're trying to disguise something, right? So there's lots of ways that there's lots of things that men and women think, ugh, I no longer want to show this off. So for a lot of women, it's their neck or, you know, their upper shoulder, chest area. Um, Another reason they shop is because there's a big event in their life. And most of the time, the events are really happy. So those are fun shopping trips. Occasionally, it's something like I have to, you know, bury a loved one and I need something for this funeral and I need you to go get it and I need it quickly. That, again, is another reason I'm very happy to know their measurements, because I can pretty much, you know, help them without them being there. Or a wedding, or a speaking engagement, or a podcast, or a first date. I mean, lots of fun things. Utility. So, you know, hey, I'm going skiing and I've never skied before. So what the heck am I going to wear? Or work play. You know, I'm just starting to do aerial yoga. What am I supposed to wear on that? You know, you're flipping upside down and your legs and arms and everything's wide open. And then impact, right? This is my favorite kind of shopping for myself personally. It's, you know, accessorizing what you already own. So I've weeded out most of the crazies in my closet. So for me, what I look for now is I typically try to wear a column of color with something, a jacket or a sweater or something over. But for me, those impact pieces are now more like a scarf, or you know, a va-va-voom bracelet, or a neat pair of shoes, a handbag, something like that.
Oh, definitely. And when women mature, you were speaking, you know, earlier about the décolleté, and this is great information. What are the most common wardrobe challenges, and is there anything that you suggest?
Um, well, if they don't know their style, and when they contact me and want to narrow down the pieces in their closet and really wear what they have more of, you know, the old 80-20 rule, you wear 20% of what you have. Okay. I like to say, let's think about what style you want first. So I usually kind of try to run some words by people. So some people, you know, it might be a romantic style, and everybody's going to describe what romance is differently. So it might be soft looking, girly looking, feminine looking. And I always think of, like, I try to use celebrities just because it's a great equalizer. We all know how they look on the red carpet and for events like that. So maybe Ashley Judd, Annette Bening, Vanessa Williams has a really feminine, romantic look. or dramatic. Dramatic people have that OMG look when they arrive on the red carpet. You're like, no mistaking, only she would wear that outfit. And one of my favorites is like Cher, right? Cher wears outfits that nobody else in the world would wear.
Yeah.
Natural, kind of the clean cut, comfortable. And people who are drawn to that look need to recognize that it's really about the fit and the fabric. So those are two things that make a comfortable person look comfortable. Martha Stewart, Ellen the comedian, Martha Stewart. What style do you consider yourself, Rachel, just out of curiosity?
Oh gosh, I know. It's one of those things where I might even be reinventing my style because I'm at a different life stage. I'm newly single. My son's getting older now. He's in junior high school. And so there's less of, the hovering and I'm losing some weight. And so it's kind of like, well, who am I? I'll be 40 in February. So that's a big deal. Like,
good, right?
It's a great question. I don't know. I usually go for a lot of black. I do like handbags, sunglasses, jewelry. That's usually what I use to kind of set, to kind of look nice. But
it's yourself in a distinct way, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's fun and but yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'd say probably more casual than I'd like to be. So, and it's good to, I think, reinvent your style and look back. I don't know if a decade is kind of a long time, and say, hey, I'm not 30 or 20. I mean, who am I and what do I want to look like? And as a business owner, what do I want to look like going forward, as a business owner?
And again, you're projecting your brand, right? So
exactly.
You have to be approachable, which you are, of course, but you want to be approachable to clients who might feel intimidated having somebody who they might consider perfect in their house, right? Oh, here comes an organizer. Is she going to be judgmental? So yeah, I agree with you. Your look is very important, and your cut and your fabric, and not to burst your bubble, but well, happy birthday whenever you're turning 40. But in another 10 or 15 years, you're going to go through like a whole new metamorphosis because your body changes as we age. Women typically don't keep that nice little trim waistline, and muscle tone isn't what it used to be. So again, you're right. You have to kind of look at your body where you are now. And then, two more styles I just thought of were like the classic style, more tailored, more timeless. Some people use the word elegant. I think that can be a little bit judgy. And then sexy, no shame. And I have several clients that want to have a sexy vibe right now. And I always think of like Sofia Vergara, right?
Oh, gosh,
Boom. She looks amazing. She's curvy. She's beautiful. And she wears very fitted clothes that show off all of her assets.
Nice. Yeah. I actually have a question for you. I never know, and this is a discussion that I have a lot, when it's appropriate to wear stockings. I know I'm catching you off guard, but I'm looking at my note.
I don't care that.
I never know.
So stockings as in hosiery stockings?
Yeah.
Okay. They're considered a real outie now.
Okay.
Yeah. But I will say this. I have several clients now. I live in the South, right? It is a bazillion degrees out and super humid, and like the last thing you want is something really clingy when it's hot and humid out. And I remember in the 80s watching Princess Di, who never wore stockings, right? That was like her thing. So if any of your listeners are wearing stockings because they want to cover up spider veins, varicose veins, maybe they don't feel like their legs are, too white, maybe. There is leg makeup. There's like Sally Hansen makes a great, inexpensive thing you can get from the drugstore. You shower, shave, exfoliate, do all that good stuff, and then you just rub it on. It is easy to apply. It stays put unless you're in a rain thunderstorm. I just did a bridal party where a bunch of bridesmaids put it on, and it wasn't pretty. We had puddles of tan coming off. And then I have some clients who refuse to go stockingless. They are from the school where that's just considered the proper way to dress yourself. And my tip for them is buy toeless hosiery, because they always wear open toe shoes down here, right? It's, again, hot, you're going to a wedding, but they feel naked without their hose. So now there's something, it's like a thong. I know that goes to underwear, but that's not what I'm talking about. It goes between your big toe and your other
Wow.
gloves, and they're stockings. So your toes are open, but you have the hosiery all the way up your leg.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because the open toe and the stocking, I mean, even I know that that.
That's like a grandma look, right? Like our grandmas used to do that. Yeah.
So do you have any suggestions for decluttering or building a better wardrobe?
Well, I have lots of suggestions. So I'll do some do's and some don'ts. How's that?
Sounds great.
Okay. So some do's are shop by color and ignore all the colors that aren't in your palette. And, you know, way back, like, gosh, when I was young, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, there was this thing called Color Me Beautiful, and like everybody had that book, and, you know, you tried to figure out if you were an autumn, a spring, a winter, and I guess there was summer. Yeah, that would make sense. 4 seasons, not that difficult to figure out. But I think not enough people pay attention to the colors that complement their hair, their eyes, and their complexion. And the very first basic 101 is figure out if you have warm complexion or cool complexion. And this usually freaks people out. The way to cheat your way through this is if you have your hair colored, or even if you don't, you can ask your hairstylist. They're really good at telling you whether you're considered warm or cool. So again, using celebrities, a cool colored celebrity would be Courtney Cox, if everybody knows who she is. She has jet black hair. She has icy blue eyes, and her skin is white, pink, rosy, right? She's cool. She probably has blue undertones if I were to meet her in person. On the opposite end, using a super obvious example, would be Jennifer Lopez. She's golden, honey, warm complexion. Okay, so that's step one. Are you warm or are you cool? Next is you look at your eye color. And again, it could be icy blue, like Courtney Cox, or Jennifer Lopez kind of has like what I think of as almost like topaz colored eyes, right? Everything about her is pretty, but her eyes are especially pretty. And if your eyes, very few people have like true blue or true green, or, you know, there's usually gold or green flecks in blue eyes or gray flecks in green eyes. So try to pick your eye color and then the little slivers of color in there. Those are going to be your best colors in a color palette. And for people who have brown eyes, it's still easy to just put a bright light on your face and kind of look in your eyes. It's never going to be like a flat one dull color, right? It's always something pretty in there. And then the third thing is look at your hair color, myself included. Highlights, lowlights, all of that stuff. Try to bring out the colors in your hair. So you got your warm and cool, and then you gravitate towards those colors. Your eye color, is it a true, clear, bright pop of color, or is it more complicated with lots of other colors? And then your hair color. So color's big. I know, it's kind of overwhelming. And then your silhouette. And this goes back to knowing what style you want. If you're sexy style, it's going to be fitted, form, you know, hugging in all the right places. But there are other silhouettes as well. Like if you think of, again, I'll go to Ellen or Martha Stewart. They're the more natural, which you said you're drawn to. Yeah. They don't wear a lot of fitted stuff around the middle, right? There's nothing low cut. I don't think I've ever seen either of them show their arms, their bare arms. So it's a more covered up conservative, or maybe they'd push their sleeves up and you'd see this part of their arm instead of, you know, all the way up. So let's see, color, silhouette, style, know which style you are. And then let go of stuff that looked good on you, 100 years ago, and now you put it on and you take it off, and then you put it on a different occasion, and then you take it off to wear something else. That's probably a sign that it's time to go.
Yeah, definitely. And, there's the ones that people say, they spent a lot of money on. I get that a lot. Well, I spent a lot of money on this, so I'm keeping it. It might not even fit.
Right. And it might not look good. So I myself have struggled with that one. I think, it's a normal thing. And here's, some tips. I don't know if they'll help people. I have to talk myself in off the ledge on this one as well, but the money is gone. I'm really not going to get it back. And I am in enough consignment stores for my clients all the time where I hear the consignment store owners tell me what's hot and what's not. And I think if no one is wearing, if that consignment store owner is no longer buying pea green or acid green or hot pink or whatever colors, she'll say, no, that's not here anymore. That doesn't look current. That's a sign that nobody's going to want it, right? She can't resell it, and she's in the business of making money reselling things. So that's one way. The other thing I tell myself and my clients is, it's gone. Nobody wants it. Just trust when you let it go. It'll end up in the hands of somebody who wants it or needs it, and you don't need to worry about what they're going to do with it, whether they're, quilting with the material or whatever.
Yeah, that's great. I encounter that a lot where people are just hanging on to items because they've spent a lot of money. And I always just point out how much they're paying us, sometimes people to be there helping them, which depreciates the item considerably along with everything else. And so, but I get hung up on stuff like that too.
Yeah. One other rule to think about when people are shopping, and this helps me a lot, is I know that cost per wear. I will wear a pair of jeans or a pair of leggings, say, or a pair of yoga pants a zillion times. I'm not going to wear a dress-up dress or a sparkle top very often. So for me, I have kind of trained myself, don't spend a lot of money on the social big stuff, the big occasion stuff. I mean, obviously a wedding dress or something like that, people are probably going to be forced to pay more for that. But the little handbags and the high heels, if you're only going to wear them for a special occasion, that should be your least expensive stuff. And then it's not painful to let go of. And then going back, I just remembered I said the list of do's. I wanted to tell you the list of, don'ts. Don't buy stuff for an aspirational lifestyle. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to buy this because it's on sale and it's going to look great 10 pounds from now. And the other thing is, I'm going to buy this in case I get invited to, the White House inaugural ball or something. Well, I know I did that for a while when I was younger, and I have come to the conclusion, I don't even like going out to big fancy formal events, right? My idea of a good time is to have people over my house and have a little wine and have a, fire roaring in the fireplace outside and to sit around casually. So don't dress for an aspirational lifestyle that you hope to live. Don't buy the stuff that I just talked about that isn't complimentary. So if you're, drawn to acid green, but it doesn't look good on you, bypass it and try to stick to your color palette once you decide what that is. Don't buy things that require too much TLC. If you're a person that hates to iron, don't buy stuff that needs to be ironed or pressed. If you can't stand sewing buttons or working on, perspiration stains under, silk is probably not your friend. If you don't like looking wrinkled, linen is not your friend. So ditch that. And then the one thing that lots and lots of, I'm sure my clients and yours do, is I call it the one last squeeze of toothpaste. Like you're going to get one more squeeze out of that. It's one more wear. I know this looks like, hell, but I'm going to put this on anyway and just wear it a few more times. And then they end up going to the grocery store, bumping into their old lover, bumping into a new lover, and they're like, oh, I shouldn't have if you have that feeling when you're putting it on, let it
Definitely. And there's the ones that people keep to just, I'm going to wear this around the house. And it's like, yeah.
go. Oh, that is where I know you do this with your clients, play the numbers game. How many shirts and shorts do you need to walk the dog, Windex your windows, wash your car, whatever their excuses, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I know you have some fun strategies. I'd love to hear about some creative strategies that you like to use on your job to help people let go of stuff.
Okay, well, this is my favorite type of clients have a really weirdo sense of humor and get me. I can't play this game with everybody, but there are different techniques, and people kind of let me know, I have a client that she's like, I never want you to come before 3 in the afternoon. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking maybe she works nights and has to wake up. She's like, no, because it just isn't cool to pour a glass of wine before 3 in the afternoon. I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be a fun client. So anyway, some of the strategies, I'll start nice and work my way to more raunchy. But the first one is friends, acquaintances, and strangers. So lots of organizers know this game. You go through your closet and you pull out everything. Is this a friend? I wear it all the time. I see it all the time. It's comfortable. It feels good. I look good. All that good stuff. Is it a stranger? Is it an acquaintance? Meaning, is this a piece of clothing that I wear occasionally and I need it and I've used it somewhat regularly when that need pops up? Or is it a stranger? Like, I have had that thing hanging in my closet. I don't even know who that is anymore. And then let go of the strangers, work on letting go of the acquaintances, and your friends, keep them, wash them, take care of them. The next game we play is, and I can't help but kind of getting the giggles because I'm thinking of these particular people I play these games with, and some of their responses are hilarious. And I know you have the same fun clientele. Pretend you're bumping into somebody. So I mentioned that a minute ago, right? I'm bumping into my old lover. I'm bumping into a new lover. I'm bumping into my husband's ex-wife, something like that. You do not want to be caught dead. Most of us don't, looking kind of like ratty when you bump into those people. Another one is pretend the paparazzi is out. And this actually has kind of a double advantage to it. So one is, if you were going to be photographed, like, if you get People magazine and they do those stars do what we do or something like that, they go for copy, they push their shopping carts. So if you were going to be photographed and put in People magazine, would you feel okay wearing what you're wearing and being seen? Some people don't care. That's not my target audience. But for most of us, seeing a picture of ourselves wearing something is a whole new reality check. Like, we might think we look good, and then you see yourself in your photo and thinking, what in the world? So again, a little tip here. If you're going to be, let's say, at a wedding or a political event or whatever, and cameras are going to be snapping pictures of you, take a picture of yourself in your outfit before you leave the house, a couple days before you leave the house, and think, what is out of whack with this outfit? Does it need a wedge heel? Do I need a high heel? Do I need a flare bottom, a boot bottom? Something is wrong with this. Try to analyze that. And then the final game is the worst of all. And this was inspired by a client of mine who had this happen. And there's nothing funny about this except she has a wicked sense of humor and made it a game. I'm like, wow. Anyway, so she was out of town and she found out that her partner was unfaithful, and the partner had his lover in their house. Oh yeah. So, she used language that straightened my hair. But it was really quite entertaining because she was kind of laughing and having fun with it. And I said, this is like the best strategy. And she's like, how in the world is this? Like, how are you going to use this? She jokes, how are you going to be so optimistic about this situation? And I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pretend Lover Girl, that's her name, comes over again. But this time she's going through all of your stuff. What don't you want her to see? I mean, Rachel, this
Wow.
woman like pulled her pajamas, swimwear, underpants. I mean, everything was gone. She's like, that is the most powerful thing. You need to do that with people. So if I think, I wouldn't obviously do that to somebody who's in a tender or delicate situation,
Right.
but
What would the other woman think going through?
yeah,
Wow. I
yeah.
wouldn't want that, if
No,
I felt like
nobody, but
that.
it's horrible, right? It's bad enough that this, unfortunate thing happened to her, but man, she made lemonade out of lemons, right?
Yeah. No, that's great. Wow. That's a great strategy.
So think about that when you're going through your sleepwear and loungewear and all that good stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that you're gardening in.
Yeah.
So, what are some of your shopping tips of clients that are a certain age? We both work with women that are,
Yeah,
most of my clients are between 55 and 85, I'd have to say.
I'm right there with them. I'm in that group. So, all right, depending on what you want to camouflage, right? So, if you feel funny, and I'm going to give you like the tip of the iceberg, as women, we are our own worst critics. But generally speaking, lots of women between 55 and 105 want to cover up their neck in this area. So a loose, nice scarf. Collars frame your face, so you can leave a V-neck is more universally flattering on everybody, but a collar popped up, and my idol for this is Jane Fonda. Does the best job in the world of framing that gorgeous face of hers. And you'll notice 99% of the time Jane is in a shirt with a collar and snaps it up, because what it does is it highlights how great she looks. If you've got heavy upper arms, which a lot of people, don't have Michelle Obama's fabulous arms. So there's shrugs, there's the little light ponchos that you can wear at an angle to kind of cut yourself in half. Some celebrities that, you can pull up online images that do this especially well are Meryl Streep and Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand, I don't know who does her clothes, but she does an amazing job. And I've never seen her upper arms, but I'm guessing from the stuff she wears, she doesn't want those shown off. So she shows all of this, usually in a, off the shoulder thing. And then whoever does her gowns usually has like a, one of these sleeves about this big, you know what I'm talking about? So
Yes.
it's all of this is so pretty, but she's covering up probably what she doesn't want to. Meryl Streep does the same thing. She wears a sheer sleeve, a lacy something over it. They've got, obviously stylists to do that. Gravity takes its toll on all women. And if you have larger breasts, a better, stronger bra with a little more support is a good thing as you age. And, around the house, you can wear your comfy stuff, but when you're going out, it does make for a better silhouette. I know low-waisted, low-rise jeans are, look amazing on people that look like Padma from Top Chef, but after 55-ish, a lot of us get that little, doughy roll. It's not so pretty. So if you're not tucking stuff in, just go for high-waisted pants and be done with it. Even yoga wear, the yoga pants now, they're making them up higher. And then I think a really neat solution, if it goes with your style, to the leg thing, especially in the winter. Like I have a client that loves to wear flat loafers and pleated skirts above her knee, but she feels very self-conscious. Like she's like, oh, I can't wear hose, I can't wear knee socks. Like, what's the deal? Opaques. And just make that your statement look. And I know Marie Kondo does it, right? She wears black tights everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why she's wearing them, but it's her signature thing. So, and go with nude shoes. That's my other thing. Like, if you are trying to elongate yourself, And let's say you have a few extra pounds. A nude shoe with your dress is a zillion times better looking than a dark shoe. So if you're wearing a black dress, a burgundy dress, a amethyst dress, look for that nude color shoe. Don't try to match a dark shoe with your dark dress. It elongates your legs, but when you put a dark shoe at the bottom of your off-white leg and you're wearing a dark dress, all it does is compresses you.
Wow, I wouldn't have even thought of that. That's great information.
Yeah. Kate Middleton, if you'll notice, she's like the queen of the nude shoe, and she's about this big around, but it just really lengthens her even more.
Great.
Princess Kate. I guess I should use her proper name.
Wow, let's see here. So are there any final 3 call to actions for women to up their game from frumpy to fabulous?
Okay. I'm going to assume that we're dealing with people who are middle-aged and wanting to look longer and leaner and maybe not as small as they used to be in the middle. So tunic tops, meaning a top that's straight cut or curved a little bit at the waist. And if you can get the bottom at an angle, it's very flattering. And that way you can breathe and relax and, enjoy your life, not worrying about if you're going to be sit down and then you have that little pudgy thing hanging out like I do right now. A longer cardigan if you have the height, and by longer I don't mean to your knee, because again you need to be really tall to carry that off, right? But maybe something if you're don't stop your cardigan or your jacket at the widest part of your hips, especially if you're a pear shape. You either want to go a little above the widest part or a little below the widest part. So that's something. And then I think I said this earlier, a V-neck is everybody's best friend.
Great. Well, there are so many tips here. I really appreciate you just giving us so much advice. I know that I definitely will use some of these. I'm going to look for some nude shoes right away.
Or metallic. I mean, you could carry off metallic, Rachel.
Okay. Yeah.
And you have a warm complexion, so you could go gold or bronze in your metallic.
Nice.
Copper would be great on you. You were made to wear copper, as a matter of fact.
I don't think I own anything copper. And isn't that funny? I mean, I think most of us go through life not knowing any of this information.
Well, I think we probably have instincts about it, but we buy what we think is pretty instead of maybe making an effort to think, my eyes are blue gold, like I'm using myself now. So I look better in things with blue gray, blue gold. My complexion is on the verge, warm, cool, but I'm definitely more warm than cool. I pay to have highlights added to my hair, so I try to, pull out caramel, copper. Those are the colors that I think I look best in. But it's really a matter of, what you're comfortable with. And, some people are going to listen to this and think, who the heck cares about this? This is the biggest waste of time and energy. Other people will be really into it.
Yeah. I think most people will be into it. There's something, well, especially with our clients that like to shop a lot, but there's something nice at least to go in shopping with a little bit more information. I mean, maybe people can actually make some purchases that they'll actually use or wear versus, like you said, things that are just pretty. And I'm guilty of that. Oh, this dress is pretty. And then I don't even think about it. Or the colors. So this is great even for me. And so I'm sure this is going to be very valuable for everyone listening. And I'm so glad that you were here on the 100th episode. It means a lot to me.
I am so tickled that you asked me. Thank you very much. What an honor. And congratulations. Look at you. You have come a long way.
Definitely. Well, thanks. And hopefully you'll be on again.
Thanks, Rachel. I appreciate it.
Hey collectors, welcome back. Wasn't that fun? I sure hope you learned a lot. I definitely am going to be sporting my nude shoes more often instead of my black ones, because I definitely have not too much height going on, let's just say. Anyway, I was so happy to have Geralin on the show for the 100th episode. And if you are watching on YouTube, I will be all dressed up, and so is she. She's got her sparkly top on, we've got our makeup on, and we are just chatting it up. Also on YouTube, I put a link to the books that you can order of hers and how you can contact Geralin. And you can also go onto the Hoardganize.com website under this episode and find her information there. And while you're on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed, click that thumbs up button, ring the notification bell, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about curating a closet with Geralin Thomas. Until next time, collectors, remember, happiness is a place between too little and too much.
This has been Hoardganize with Rachel Seavey. New episodes are available every Sunday at 6 p.m. and also on the Collector Care YouTube channel. Download Rachel's Affirmations for Collectors on iTunes or Amazon.com, or sign up for Rachel's blog at collectorcare.com and receive 7 tips for clutter-free living. Thanks for listening.